Every single day we interact with a million different situations. I'm sharing this video now because I've met a lot of people, and this isn't my normal content, but it's to help those people out there in the truth community who are uncertain about what's the true nature of that which is taking place around them. They don't necessarily understand their own gifts and abilities, and they just need a little bit of encouragement and guidance to help them get through the process. When I was locked up for my crimes against humanity, no, I'm just joking. When I was locked up for my speech activities, the alleged activities of my speech, I met a lot of people, and some of them taught me new ways to perceive this reality. I'd always had unique ways of perceiving this reality, a manner of a giftedness, if you will, but that's not no reason to brag. It was just I understood people. I understood the possibilities in our experiences. I understood how sometimes people, even with their best intentions, can tell people things that can confuse them and misdirect them and fumble them up even further. Nobody necessarily has a bad intention, but when we interact and we experience this world, different things happen all the time, constantly. And it's easy for us to look at the situations around us and to become suspicious of them and in fear of them. We are all leaders. We are all answering the call, at least those hearing this message now. And sometimes we believe that we are being targeted, and there are those who are out there surveilling us and micromanaging or keeping eyes on our activity, setting up scenarios all around us all the time. That a lot of different things can occur. If you open yourself up to vibrations, you can begin to find yourself being manipulated by energy sucking entities. These things feed off of our vibrations and off of our energy, our negativity, off of our worries, off of our excitement. It feeds off of everything. That doesn't mean we can't have joyous and sad experiences. It means that we must remain guarded to the things that are causing us to have these experiences. The world around us has been set up in a way where if you keep your head down, things will remain the way they've always been, typically. If you feel like you are being watched, even though you haven't done anything to upset any of the balances in this world, you're not compromising their elite figure player heads, if you're not messing with their money, they're not really paying that much attention to you. Now, that is a statement that can be taken two ways. Everything is always paying attention to us, and the things that can feed off of our energy most certainly are attracted to us and will continue to pursue us to no ends. The greater the harassment that they can cause, the greater the energy that they're able to pull from their prey. But the alphabet agencies in this world, though they are influenced and enhanced by these entities, don't typically play the role. They don't typically play that role in this scenario. And when you expose what they're doing, when you constantly are waking up others and teaching them to wake up others, you are spreading a virus. And when that virus spreads, it's hard for people to be cured from that virus. You've heard whispers and rumors of re-education systems and centers, like what Lauryn Hill was made to go to. These things do exist, but they are seldomly employed. You have to truly be affecting the public narrative. And if you are being attacked for no purpose, it is in a high likelihood that you're being attacked because something is parasitically attached itself to you and wishes to manipulate you and those around you as to achieve their own desired outcome. You can protect yourself from this by simply doing what all those kids had to do in the Freddy Krueger movies and just stop believing and take your power back and find your peace. Do not feed into the whispers. Do not feed into the chatter. These things are all tools of manipulation used against you to try to steer you and disrupt you and keep you from achieving your higher states of consciousness. You have to realize there's a whole group of people out there who are under this form of constant attack and bombardment. There are, in fact, targeted individuals. The government is manipulating people, okay? So just because you're defending yourself doesn't mean that you will not, in fact, be targeted. You may be being targeted because of background certain things that have come up in your life, your life's path, like certain indicators that were brought up in school that suggest that you may be vulnerable or to different types of technology and manipulation. They have voice to cranium technology that they use to implant words and thoughts and ideas into people's brains in real time. They can also do the same thing with imagery, though they won't admit this. Even the company McDonald's is asking for the opportunity and the privilege to broadcast advertisements into your brain while you are asleep. But the reason why it's going into your brain while you're asleep, it's not like they're specifically targeting you. It's a broadband broadcast distribution of this information. And when people enter certain states of consciousness, they're able to manipulate them and tie into that wave with a similar frequency. Not the same, because it would cancel itself out, but a complementary frequency, so as to be able to manipulate that person and make them hear things while they're asleep. The same thing can be done with different types of technology that exists all the world over. We truly have to be aware of these things, because they do exist. They can make officers of law enforcement believe they're seeing poo-poos, poo, right? They make them think that they're seeing that in a crime scene, and they respond accordingly, and later they realize there was nothing. It was just some form of false stimuli occurring. It was just something, a figment of their imagination. And then they have to hide that information, because that would require a full mental evaluation, and they're already going to have to go through enough just because of the situation that they were just made to be a part of. And there's people in different communities who have experienced long period sensory and audible hallucinations, visual and audible sensory hallucinations, and could easily track down all the information that they've recorded, and that information can be reviewed by a peer, and they will see, like, hey, there's actually, like, reasoning to this, like, there's logic to this, there's something deeper than what we would automatically assume is going on. So, pausing. I paused for a minute because there were sirens in the background, which is a perfect example of the triggering type of stimuli I'm referring to. Our brains are very powerful, and if people are able to manipulate our brains and using electrical frequencies and other things get us to think and feel and experience things that aren't necessarily real or genuine, then it's also going to be an issue for people whose brains are very powerful and very active, and yet just have not been fully trained and disciplined to ignore the fake stimuli or the fake natural automatic negative thought that's generated from that external stimuli. And that automatic negative thought needs to be silenced and understood, but silenced, not left to be made the controlling compass in our life. Now, this leads me to bring up another whole point of view altogether. In those people who have heightened natural senses, they are experiencing things outside of their natural realm of experience, out of their natural realm of stimuli. They are hearing things that are happening. They are experiencing things that are happening. But there is a fine line of discernment that is necessary to maintain in order to know if the stimuli is in fact a internally generated artifact that is being projected from the brain and then re-perceived, and then automatic negative thoughts are being generated that can move and guide our next thought and our next behavior and our next response. But nevertheless, regardless, it doesn't matter if it's a true artifact that we're observing or a artificial one that our brain is generating. There is no need to respond emotionally. See, when we have minds that are this powerful and this capable of taking control of our consciousness, because those are two separate things, the brain and the consciousness, the mind, these are separate things. The mind is part of our consciousness, and the brain is the organic tissue where our consciousness and mind typically reside. If you watch the movie What Dreams May Come, which is a beautiful lesson for everyone to learn from, not necessarily about exactly what we're talking about, but in parts in relationship to the things we're talking about, our mind can create wonderful things all around us, and we can react to the things that are happening in reality horribly, or we can react to the things that we think are happening in reality horribly and have terrible reactions that affect others, or we can learn to not just take this in and bottle it all up, but we can learn to process this and understand what it really is about and what it's really being generated from, what internal dialogue is occurring. It could be from phantom dialogue, it could be from things that mean nothing inside of our subconscious minds. But maybe there are some unresolved issues that we need to observe. But with the people who I've had a chance to meet in life as well, it's been very incredible to see that some people are experiencing something psychic. Some people are being told that they need to do something because it's like, in a way, it's like the creator or the creating energy or the universe saying, hey, you're being called for this, just like I'm being called right now to make this video and share this response to somebody who's a brilliant, big-hearted individual who has a lot to give to this world, and who can also take this message because they can listen to it again and again, and that's why I'm creating it, and they can use it as a tool to understand the real situation that we all find ourselves in, whether we are experiencing psychic extrasensory perceptions, or if we're experiencing something that is trying to speak to us within, or if it's just something that has taken advantage of us and is manipulating us. None of these things require a response, except for one directed by your own choices, and that is to not ever consider harming anybody or reacting out of this in violence, but instead finding a way to peacefully resolve these issues and better build up our defenses, better learn to understand our minds so that we can learn to process this. See, one of the big problems with the mental health industry is that they need a patient to treat in order to make a profit. And the problem with that is that that creates a model where they don't want to cure the patient, they just want to prolong the process of treating them. And that is never good for the patient because it stops them from being able to recover and restore and move on in their life with new tools, and being able to better utilize their consciousness and their sensory awareness systems, and ignore those things that need no attention whatsoever, and can also help share this message with the community. But they have to consider each individual person and their unique, place in this, so as to not mislead or misguide or give them the wrong advice, because they don't necessarily know how that person is going to respond or react to that advice or that information they're given. So, and it's no fault to them because they haven't learned that yet, the person giving the advice. It's no fault to them. They're just where they are in the process. And they also have to learn that we have to be careful with the things we share with the community. We can't scare people. We can't terrify them. We can't use, fear pornography per se. Not any of sexual orientation. Something that's exploitative. We can't exploit people through their senses of fear and uncertainty. If nothing more, we need to encourage people and bring them peace and a calmness of mind. So after you're done watching this, if you did watch this, I recommend that each and every single one of you who can take the opportunity to watch the most popular music by Nahko Bear and Medicine for the People. It's a beautiful song, a beautiful video, and it does help bring peace to people. It helps remind them of the beauty that exists around us. And I'll give you the name of that song right now. One moment. Again, that's Nahko Bear and Medicine for the People's Aloha Ke Akua. And I apologize if that is not properly pronunciated, but it's a beautiful song and it helps bring peace to one's heart. Just look up Medicine for the People or Nahko Bear, but probably better Medicine for the People. Aloha Ke Akua. That song has a beautiful heart in it, and it can truly, really help bring peace in those times of uncertainty. And just, you don't have to believe in the lyrics of the song either, but it does have a beautiful message. And that's what I want to leave you guys with, is just remember, this world does wish to leave us with a beautiful message, and it's oftentimes discouraging to see the way everything is happening around us. But don't have fear and don't worry, but stay guarded, stay protected, stay on your path, the path that you've known your whole life. Don't allow others to victimize you. Use your strengths. Build your mind up and be that strong, amazing person that the world needs. Don't overthink. Don't overtry. Don't push yourself to your limits. Just do that which your heart speaks unto you to do. Ask for protection. A guardian of energy or angels around you to guide you and protect you, and know that no weapon formed against you can prosper, for that your creator has a path laid out before you. Just protect yourself and love those who have extended themselves to love you, and try to nurture and be there to heal those who are still sick and wounded and hurting, and you'll do great things in this life. That's a great form of leadership. There are those out there who have nobody and need somebody, and they come from all walks of life, and you are the person right now that they found today to help you, to help them. So please, it doesn't cost money to do that all the time. Money shouldn't be the focal point. There are people out there who have plenty enough money, and if they can find the people with the right heart and the right alliances, then it's good. I'll break down more detail into, with this person, their particular experiences, but I'll again tell you this. Sometimes people have slipped into other dimensions. They've driven right out of this reality and into another, and they've experienced something completely profound. And so don't doubt for 1 minute that you have had genuine experiences, but just don't let them dictate your life. Don't let them rule over you, and know that, you can go to your quiet place, your safe, beautiful space that you've created or can create, and you can work these things out and work through them. And don't allow them to be overwhelming to you. If you feel being like you're being overwhelmed, remember there's a lot of beauty around us in the animals and in all of nature, and why it's there, is for us to have peace, and remember that that's a an important role that we play. Just having that relationship with nature around us and with life, and having that ability to calm our thoughts. Nature can bring us to that place. So again, your experiences are real and genuine and have meaning, but don't allow them to control you and rule you, and don't allow people to tell you things that you think are fact. Nothing is necessarily fact. It's all an experience, and we agree upon it typically. But sometimes people have other preconceived concepts, and those can greatly interfere with our own life's path. Use discernment, find a path with a heart, and do your best, and take nothing personally, and realize that this time in your life is where you're being called to protect your heart, the hearts of those around you, and to be witness to this experience, and to be a positive authority for your own life, to have peace, and to be thankful for this experience we've been given, but to have that authority of discernment and control, and a peace that is uncompromisable and unbreakable, unshakable. Find that for you, because others will grow and learn from that. Find that for you.